I gave my late son's college savings fund to his best stud of my own nephew. I lost my boy back in 2019 when he was 15. He'd lived with a severe heart condition his entire life. We always knew it was serious, yet you still fool yourself into thinking you'll get more time together. But we didn't. I practically camped out at the hospital those final months of his life. I slept on those terrible plastic chairs, survived on vending machine food, and listened to medical monitors beeping all night long. My family would call now and then, muttering empty lines like, "Let us know if you need anything." But no one ever actually showed up. Not once did my sister bring us meals. My mom never stopped by to said I head home to shower and rest. All I ever got from them was hollow words. But there was this kid named Danny, my son's best friend since they were 10 years old. When my son grew terribly sick, Danny never vanished like everyone else. He'd take 2 buses straight after just to hang around the hospital room with him. He brought his laptop, and they'd watch silly YouTube videos together. He snuck in forbidden snacks whenever he could. One day he brought a handmade scrapbook filled with all their childhood memories. That was the first time my son had laughed in weeks. On days my son was home between treatments, Danny would stay overnight at our house. He helped him shuffle to the bathroom when he was too weak to walk alone. They'd chat for hours about video games, school gossip, anything light and ordinary. He made my sick kid feel like a regular teenage boy again. After my son passed, stopped calling within a month or 2. That's just how grief goes, I suppose. Danny was the only exception. He'd knock on my door every few weeks. Sometimes he brought little handmade gifts, drawings, old photos he'd found, once even a wood he carved himself, etched with my son's initials. He'd learned basic woodworking just to make it for me. We'd sit on the kit talking about my son for hours, or just cry quietly side by side. He was grieving his best friend too, and having him nearby comforted me far more than any blood relative ever did. Here's the whole story. While my son was still alive, I slowly put aside money into a college fund for him. It wasn't a huge sum, but it gave him something hopeful to look forward to. We'd talk endlessly about his dream majors, how here mom, all those little happy fantasies. Once he was gone, I left the money untouched. I had no idea what to do with it. Last week I went to my mom's house for dinner. My sister, her husband, and my 17-year-old nephew were all there. Out of nowhere, my sister blurted out, "So what are you gonna do with that college fund money?" I really didn't want to discuss it, but she kept pestering me nonstop. Eventually I told her nonstop. I planned to give every penny to Danny for his college tuition. She stared at me in shock. "Danny? Your son's friend? That random kid?" Her whole face turned cold instantly. "You're giving our family's money to some outsider." I told her Danny was never just this person to my son besides me. My mom cut in right away. "Henny, think this through carefully. Your nephew is blood family, and he needs college help too." My sister quickly agreed. "I can't afford his tuition on my own. Why give all this money to someone who isn't even related to us?" He sat there awkward and quiet, never asking for the money himself. This was entirely his mom's idea. I explained that my nephew barely knew my son. They only crossed paths twice a year at family parties, never spent real time together, and were never close. My sister insisted. I shot back sharply. Blood never sat with me at the hospital. Blood never lifted me up when I was falling apart completely. The whole table fell silent. My turn cheese attended, saying we all were regretful about those hard days. "This isn't about the past," I told them firmly. "It's about my final decision. The money belonged to Danny. He'd earned every bit of it. He was the only one who showed up when no one else would." My sister raised her voice angrily. "You're seriously picking a stranger over your own family?" "He's not a stranger to me." She shoved her chair backward loudly, turning to our mom. "Tell her how ridiculous she's being," warning me I would deeply regret this choice someday. I stood up without another word and left.